Hi there. Thank you for joining me today to talk about two things you can do that are absolutely free. And I think they're some of the most overlooked things you can be doing to improve your health. So let me tell you where this idea for this topic was born. A couple of things. Number one is I think sometimes people, when they don't feel good, they're looking for something glaringly wrong. I have cancer. I have some rare genetic weird disorder or something that's making me not feel good. And in reality, more often than not, it's that there's foundational things that they're not doing a good job of. And two of the most foundational things are water and oxygen. Think about that. If you're not feeling good and you don't have enough water and you don't have enough oxygen, do you think that makes the problem better or worse? Probably worse. So that was one of the motivations for this topic. The other motivation is I talk to people all the time, and they do need someone to partner up with them and run labs and sit down and listen to them and create a plan and all of that. And sometimes someone is there and they're ready to receive that help, but sometimes they call and they feel like they want help, but they don't have any resources available to them. They're like, oh, I really want to feel better, but I don't have anything. I don't have any money to spend at this point. And these are things that I volunteered for a while at a free medical clinic. And so I didn't have the luxury of running the really cool labs that I use every day that are great, and using supplements and telling people to go eat organic foods. And even though those things are great, these people were living in hotels and they met really basic income criteria. They didn't have a lot of resources. And so I kind of brainstormed and I was like, well, let's go back to the most fundamental and basic things. And even better if there's no money involved to do these things. So let's break it down real quick. Drink enough water and get enough good oxygen flow. So those sound so simple. And how many times have you heard someone say, make sure you're drinking enough water? But do you know what that means? And are you doing it? So let's turn this theoretical conversation into something that you can use. Number one, how much water should you be drinking? The best thing that I have found, the formula to figure this out, is to say, I'm going to take my body weight in pounds. So, say I weigh 150 pounds, I'm going to cut it in half and I'm going to drink that many ounces of water. So, if you weigh 100 pounds, it's 50 ounces of water. You weigh 200 pounds, it's 100 ounces of water. You weigh 150 pounds, it's 75 ounces of water. Super easy. And it gives you a concrete number. Because if you don't have a concrete number and you're just sitting there saying, I'm going to drink plenty of water, what does that even mean? What's plenty of water? What's enough? Now, granted, if it's really hot outside and you're sweating outside, or you're super active, you might need to up that number. The other time you might want to do it is if you're doing something like a detox and you're trying to flush things out, or you're sitting in the sauna, or there are times when you might want more water than that. But that is a great general rule, and it's a great starting point. I find that solves, man, people are running around with headaches because they don't drink enough water. They're running around constipated because they don't drink enough water. Their skin doesn't look good. Like, how many things can be solved by drinking enough water? So the other thing is, now that you know that number, you have to have a plan to meet that goal. So for me, my number is somewhere around 60 some ounces of water. So I have a 32 ounce big water jug. And I'll go get it. Time out. It's sitting here right now because I won't drink unless it's convenient for me. And this is made out of stainless steel. You can, obviously use whatever um, type of material you want, but I like stainless steel because it's not plastic. You're not going to be leaking things into your water that you don't need to be doing. So I fill this up the night before. So and my goal is, by the time I leave the house to go to work, say it's 7:30, 8 o'clock, 8:30, whatever time I'm leaving, I have consumed 32 ounces of water. And then I refill it, take it with me, and throughout the day, I try to drink the other 32 ounces. That works really well for me because I work out in the morning, so I need a little bit more water as I'm working out when I'm done. And then I get busy through the day, and so it's not as easy. But That's an easy way for me to do that. And that is so important to me that I even have people who I'm working with and I'm consulting with, and I say, "Are you drinking enough water?" And they say no. And I say, "Do you have a water bottle?" They say no. And I send them a water bottle. That's part of my care plan, is like, it's going to show up from Amazon on your doorstep because it's that important. And so there's that piece of it. You need to know how much, which is body weight in pounds, or body weight in pounds divided by two. Drink that number in ounces of water. So find out your number and make sure you're getting it. Now, the second thing is oxygen. And low oxygen environments are a perfect breeding ground for chronic disease like cancer. So, an environment that is low in oxygen and high in sugar, it is a perfect storm for something like cancer. So, when I run labs on somebody, I have a pH indicator. It's called an anion gap. Calculation, and I take a few different sodium, potassium, chloride, and carbon dioxide numbers, and I come up with this measure of how acidic or alkaline someone is. And typically, when that gets a little bit on the high side, that number, we know that they're turning more acidic than they are alkaline, which is not what we want. So one of the best things, obviously, changing their diet and eating more plant-based things, lots of vegetables, some fruit, things like that is really important. But one of the other things that I use with them, and this helps a lot, is deep breathing, breath work. So you're bringing in oxygen, and there's a couple of ways you can do this. The first is just some deep breathing exercises. It doesn't have to be super complicated. If you have ever heard of a gentleman named Wim Hof, he wrote a book called The Wim Hof Method, and he goes into tons of detail and has all these statistics about breath work and cold immersion and all of that. And it's a fabulous read. But one of the things I've noticed about the people that come to see me is they don't want to read a 300-page book. They just want me to get the main points, package them in a cute little package, and say, "Here, do this, drink this much water, do these breathing exercises." So he has a free app, the Wim Hof Method app. The book, there, you can Google him, you can look up, he has these breathing exercises, these guided, that you can do along with them, and it's all free. Now, you don't have to even download an app or do that. You just need to, there's a breath exercise called Four Squares, which is a great way to bring in oxygen, hold it, and then get rid of, exhale the carbon dioxide. So you breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 4, breathe out for 4, and hold on the exhale for 4. It's called Four Square. So inhale for 4, hold, out for 4, and hold. And if you repeat that, say 10 times, then you've got a really good breathing exercise. And I use this 2 times a day, I think are super important. One is if you are a person who is having trouble with energy in the morning, you're what I consider to be a slow starter. You're dragging in the morning, you need your cup or pot of coffee to get going in the morning. It's a great way to bring energy into your morning. So before your feet hit the ground, do it. Do 10 Four Square breaths. Or if you're the kind of person who's having a lot of trouble falling asleep, like you lay down to go to sleep and your mind's going 100 different directions and you can't quiet it down and you have a really hard time sleeping, then if you do some breath work, then you have something to concentrate and focus on, and it calms the mind, it calms the body, and helps you sleep. Deep breathing is one of those things that resets the nervous system, because if your tendency is to be going into this like fight or flight mode, then deep breath work is just a reset button. It's like, hey, I can't be stressed out if I have the bandwidth to sit here and do these breath exercises. So it can be as simple as 10 Four Square breaths. It can be follow the Wim Wim Hof method. Follow he has all kinds of like beginner, intermediate, advanced, where you hold your breath and do all this. Or you can download something like the Calm app or some kind of app on your phone to lead you through guided breath work and meditation. Now, Calm, there's a little small charge for it or something like that. But a lot of this stuff is free, and it's a great way. So one way to increase your oxygen is to intentionally think about it and do some breath work. How many times, ask yourself an honest question, how many times do you really intentionally think about deep breathing? But is oxygen really important? You bet it is. So it's a great thing to focus, put a little bit of an intention and focus to. The other thing you can do is exercise, because when you're, you know, struggling for breath and you're out there huffing and puffing, you're taking in more oxygen. So I like to run. That's something I like to do. So like intervals are a great way to do this. Maybe running's not your thing. Maybe it's walking or biking or riding the elliptical machine or the rowing machine or lifting weights or whatever. But that interval, that season of the workout when your heart rate and your breathing is way high and you're just, you know, sucking air in, that is a good way. You expand your lungs, you bring a lot of oxygen in, and so that's another way. You probably don't think of exercise as breath work, but I think that's one of the reasons why exercise is so important, and that should probably be another session on live and a whole topic, because um, it's really good. So you don't need a ton of it. You just need a little bit of it to get the benefits. So just as a recap, we're just talking about the two things you can do totally free that will make you feel better immediately. One is drink your water, drink enough of it, which is your body weight in pounds cut in half, drink that many ounces. The second one is get some good oxygen into your system. Maybe that looks like exercise, maybe it looks like intentional deep breathing, but I think those two things, try them with me. Let's commit the next 7 days. Put a little comment in there or whatever. But I make a point to try to do those things every day. But I'm going to be really intentional about that over the next 7 days. And join me if you're in the group or you're on YouTube or LinkedIn, wherever you're watching this. Drop a comment if this is working, or the Q&A Facebook group is a place to interact and ask questions. So let's be doing this, because I think it'll benefit us all. So thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.